welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. It's nice to meet you. I'm Natalie. If you're an OG, hey girl, or hey boy, whichever one you ascribe to. Golly, bagel's hard as heck. Well, anyway, today's video is gonna be on. It's gonna be a story time. I'm gonna tell y'all about what happened to me recently. About 2 weeks ago, I was almost adult napped. Yeah. So many of y'all know that I'm an avid fitness goer, and that I work out in the mornings, typically before I go to work. So recently, I started going and working out in the mornings, like running though, incorporating running into my workouts. And it was like last Monday, I want to say, or 2 Mondays ago, whatever it was. I woke up at 5:45 and I was gonna go run a mile, and it was dark, so I decided not to go because I didn't want to run in the dark. But so I decided to stay in the bed a little bit longer. I ended up going to run at 6:15 instead. So I went and I ran my mile, got to my typical mile marker. The route that I run, the way that I run it, it doesn't take me very long to walk back home. It literally takes me like maybe 6 minutes to walk home, if that long. So I usually run with a podcast playing, either Black Girl Podcast or 𝗕𝗢𝗥𝗚𝗘. Those are my two favorite podcasts that I always listen to when I work out. So this particular morning, I was listening to a podcast. I don't ever run with headphones in my ears because I want to be able to hear what's around me, and that's a really good thing, because that really helped me that particular morning. So I ran my mile, everything went well, got to my mile marker, and then I decided to walk back home. And I walked home and I got to the corner of my street. There's a four-way stop, and there was a white vehicle, looked like maybe like an older Oldsmobile. It was kind of raggedy, but it was an older car, and the guy inside of it was a older black male, maybe in his late 30s, early 40s. But I say this to say, a lot of the older black people that live in Birmingham, especially in the area that I live in, they look way older than they actually are. And I think it's just like, you know, people live rough lives, and so it takes a toll on their appearance. And I think that could possibly be why everyone around my area looks so old and beat down. But anyway, he let me cross the street. He was already at the stop sign when I got to the corner. And so he let me cross the street. He did not have his turn signals on. He could either go left, right, or straight. His turn signals were not on, so I assumed he was gonna go straight. But he waved me to go, and so I crossed the street and continued to walk. I wasn't really worried about, you know, the car. But as I passed my neighbor's house, the neighbor before my house, as I started passing his house, I started hearing things behind me that, like, if it was a car that was just driving by, I wouldn't have been able to hear it so clearly. But it was like you could hear the sputtering of the car, like things that were, I don't know, like, you know how sometimes if there's like a clicking sound in your car, typically you won't be able to hear it driving by someone unless you like stop your car. I don't know, but I heard weird stuff coming from his car, and it was just so clear and so near me that I was like, why is this car so close. I didn't turn around because by the time I realized that the car was really close, it was because I started to see the front of the car inching closer and closer to my person. Like I said, I was by myself, thank God. So he was driving so slow that if he wanted to stop his car, put it in park, grab me and throw me in the back seat, he could have. And so when I saw the car getting so close to me and like going so very slow, I started to run, and I ran into my yard, ran in my house. Luckily, I did not have my door locked. If I would have had to fiddle with keys to get in my house, I would have been screwed. But literally, I ran in my house. My husband was in the bathroom, and I like slammed the door, and he was like, what's wrong? What's wrong? Because I never come in the house that early in the morning making that much noise. And I was like, this guy just followed me home. So I'm telling him what's happening, and he's standing on one side of the living room and I'm standing on the other. And part of our curtains are drawn because it's daylight outside. And so he's looking outside and he's like, is that car right there? And I'm like, yeah. So he's looking at him. And then eventually he walks over to the door, my husband. And so I'm standing on one side of the window, and my husband's standing at the front door. And you can see the guy outside in his car. Like, it looks as if he's like backing up so that he can see into the open part of the window. Maybe he didn't have a good enough angle, so he was trying to position his car in a way that he could see inside the car. See inside the house. Eventually, my husband opens up the door. Maybe like a minute goes by, and my husband opens up the door, and he looks at him, and the guy's window is down. The guy's window is open. Eventually, they end up locking eyes, and the guy hits reverse and drives away, drives backwards up the hill. And I was just so scared because, one, sex trafficking is a big deal. Sex trafficking is a thing. It's real. And I know it's real because I know victims of sex trafficking, because I worked in a residential treatment facility where some of my students had been sex trafficked before. And so I know enough about it. I took a sex trafficking class in college. So it's just, I know enough about sex trafficking to know that it's a real thing and it's a scary thing. But also, we live in Birmingham, and Birmingham, Alabama is right next to Atlanta, which is the hub of sex trafficking. And a lot of kids get snatched up here, and that's like a thing, especially in like the Black neighborhoods. You'll see kids getting snatched up left and right, and nothing, you won't ever find those kids again. So it just literally really freaked me out. I've never been that close to being snatched up. I've had people stop me in the street before and say suspicious things to me, but I've never had a car roll up on me in that manner. And the fact that he sat outside my house and did not leave until him and my husband locked eyes really tripped me out, because, you know, it's almost as if he was like thinking, you know, oh, this young girl, I'm gonna snatch her, and she ran into this house, but it's probably not her house, so I'm gonna wait for her to come outside and then I'm gonna get her. And when I didn't come out and he saw my husband at the door, he, you know, so it's just a crazy thing. Especially, I'm petite. I am 5'2" and 133 pounds. I can fit in the back of a trunk with no problem. Probably wouldn't even need to fold me up. It's just scary, you know, especially when Black women are the most disrespected people on the planet. And so Black women go missing, Black women are killed, Black women are sexualized to the point of death, that it's really scary. And so that was my story time on how I almost got kidnapped 2 weeks ago. Since then, I have yet to do a run, and I've been very reluctant to go outside, like in my yard. Yesterday was the first time I took my son outside to play in my yard since that happened. I can't lie, I'm very, very paranoid about it. We have a ring, so we, you know, can pull back the footage. It's just a really scary situation. I'm in the process of waiting on my taser to come. I did order a taser, and I ordered some supplies to make a self-defense keychain. I'll be going to the gun range. My husband's gonna take me to the gun range, and we're getting gun licenses. I don't particularly want a gun, but in just that situation that took place just made me realize that I'm not safe. I don't feel safe here. I don't feel safe in my home, which is sad to say, because your home is supposed to be your place of serenity and your place of solace. But I don't know. It's been a rough 2 weeks since that has happened. The first couple days after that happened, I didn't sleep. Kept having nightmares about it. It's just a really scary thing to deal with, for any woman. Black, white, Hispanic, doesn't really matter, but I just know that, you know, I'm a black woman, so the chances of me being safe is even less, you know. So, well, especially ladies, I feel like, I want to reiterate this, I feel like everyone knows this already, but just be very, very careful when you're out and about. Don't have your headphones in, your AirPods in, listening to music to the point where you can't hear what's going on around you. I hate saying like use the buddy system, because we're grown, we shouldn't have to use the buddy system, but if you can at all, like, share your location with your loved ones. Like, my mom and my husband have my location at all times, for the reason, you know, that if I get snatched up or something happens to me, they know where I am, or at least they know where my phone was last, you know. I don't know, the whole experience on Monday just made me crazy, because usually on Sundays I walk around my neighborhood for about an hour with my kids, and I'm just thankful that that didn't happen to me while I was doing that on a Sunday, because I would not have been able to move as fast with 2 children, like pushing a big ass stroller. I would not have been able to get in my house as quickly as I did. So just be careful, watch your surroundings. I don't want to say be paranoid, but like, just take into consideration that everybody's motives are not with the intent to be positive. And so just know that you should not do anything to make yourself vulnerable, if at all possible. Vulnerabilities make things very risky for us. One of the things that one of the people who commented on my post said was to change up my routine, and that guy probably had been watching me for some weeks and knew that I was going running every Monday morning, and they're absolutely right. Like, I know I'm the type of person that has to operate on a strict schedule, and routine is my thing, but at the same time, routine can get you killed. Routine can get you snatched. Just be very mindful and be careful. Always protect yourself. I'm gonna post some links below for some self-defense resources, as in like tasers, self-defense pickers, things that you can put on your keychain that can help you stay a little more safe. But yeah, just be careful, y'all. Be careful. So until next time.